Hello, everyone. I'm Jackson, and today we'll share insights from three major projects: the Y2K project, Universal's Epic Universe themed park, and Coca Cola's new Coke launch. We'll compare what went right and wrong, identify lessons learned, and connect them to project management best practices. Our presentation will cover project overviews, key analysis, lessons learned, communication, and leadership insights, and finally, career takeaways from our teamwork. Again, my name is Jackson Bohm, one of the members of Team 6 that you will hear throughout this presentation. For the agenda, we're going to, like I said just now, we're going to explore three projects, the key lessons learned, best practices, career roadmaps, and conclusion and questions. The Y2K project, successful yet unnecessary. The Y2K project stemmed from a computer coding issue where years were stored with only two digits. This meant that 00, quote unquote, could be read as 1900 instead of 2000. Sorry. The fear was that systems could crash worldwide, from banks and hospitals to utilities and defense. Stakeholders in this project would include governments, corporations, IT firms, and the general public, all interconnected and all highly dependent on accurate data. It was a rare global project with a fixed deadline, midnight, January 1st, 2000, and a budget estimated between 300 to 600 billion. The team used a work breakdown structure to manage a massive scope in global communication, channels to test and patch systems. Ultimately, the transition occurred smoothly with minimal disruptions, showing that large scale risk prevention can be worth the cost. Now, I want to go back to the fixed deadline and the budget. See, one of the things that we learned about was how the count of the budget or how much money was being sent was lost during the project. So we don't really know for sure how much money was spent on this project. 300 to 600 billion was the only relevant data I found to be somewhat accurate. But through money loss, or I should say, through not keeping track of how much we spent, we never know for sure how much money we sent. Moving on, communication was a double edged sword. We see internal coordination worked well, but public communication faltered. You had people freaking out. Officials and the media sent mixed messages. Some downplayed the risks, others sparked panic. This reminds us that during crisis, project communication must balance transparency with reassurance. Risk management, prioritization, and global coordination made Y2K a successful story, even if some its questioned, questioned its importance. New Coke. Our third case, New Coke, is one of the most famous product failures in business history. In 1985, Coca Cola reformulated its classic soda to compete with Pepsi's sweeter taste. They ran 200,000 blind taste tests that supported the change, but they overlooked something crucial: emotional loyalty. Customers were never asked if they wanted the original Coke replaced, only which flavor they were preferred in small samples. We see that within weeks, public backlash exploded. People felt their identity was taken away. Protest groups formed, calls flooded the company, and Coke eventually reintroduced the original formula as Coca Cola Classic just 3 months later. Ironically, this mistake boosted overall sales, but only after a huge reputation cost. Stakeholder engagement is very important. In every project, success depended on who was listened to and who was ignored. Y2K and Universal succeeded because they engaged widely with their stakeholders. Coke failed because it didn't communicate with their stakeholders. When it comes to clear scope and prioritization, Y2K focused on critical systems first. Scope controls saved time and lives. Coke's scope was too narrow, focused on flavor and not brand identity or loyalty to the brand. Communication, Universal's steady communication built trust. Y2K's mixed messaging caused confusion, and Coke's top down communication alienated customers, loyal, valuable customers. For the tailored approach, Epic Universe's flexible phased approach shows that no one size fits all project method. For adaptability, both Universal and Coke eventually pivoted, but timing made all the difference between the success and the failure of both projects. For risk management, Y2K and Universal used risk registers and contingency planning. Coke didn't plan for the emotional risk at all, and that's what led to failure. For career takeaways for me, I feel I've learned to value both structure and creativity in project management, planning with flexibility. I'm pursuing an apprenticeship in IT project management and plan to earn my CAPM certification after my schooling. My long term goal is to manage projects that bring innovation and meaning, projects that would combine leadership, teamwork, and adaptability. I've learned a lot from the three projects that I have studied, or that Team 6 and I have studied this past semester. Each project offered unique and interesting insights. We see that Y2K showed us how preparation and communication prevents chaos. Epic Universe shows us that flexibility and collaboration enable success in crises. And New Coke shows us that ignoring stakeholders can derail any project. The core message for me involving all these projects is that successful project management is about people, adaptability, and purpose. It's never just about the process. I believe that the best way to build trust with stakeholders in a large team is to one, communicate early and often and clearly. I believe that trust starts with consistent communication, especially in large teams. People don't want to feel left out or surprised. I find that I found that setting up clear communication channels, weekly updates, and transparent dashboards helps everyone feel informed and respected. For my second, I would say follow through on commitments, delivering on what you promise, even in small tasks. This builds credibility over time. If something changes, communicate why and how immediately. People trust you more when you're transparent about challenges. And lastly, listen actively and include stakeholders in decisions. When stakeholders know their voice actually shapes outcomes, they're more engaged and trusting. During planning, ask for their input, not just approval, and follow up to show how their feedback was used. Thank you